Hello, everybody. It's Becky here. Hello. Feeling so much better today. I think what we were dealing with was a barometric pressure change because it started raining and everything started feeling a little better. So I'm on about 9 minutes early. So I realize not everybody will be here right away, but I thought I would come on, and for anybody that's just showing up today, this is the final Thursday Sewing Bee. I'm going to be combining some sewing episode type things in my Wednesday night lives from now on. So if you come to a Wednesday night live, which is 7 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday evenings, I'm live for about 2.5, 3 hours. And we'll work on some art stuff, some sewing stuff, and just project shares and that kind of things on Wednesdays. What you see before you here is what we've already completed in these sewing bees. We've made, well, if I'd had the right material, these would have been bowl hot pads that you could put in the microwave, but you have to use 100% cotton fabric, batting, and thread to do that. And this has got some polyester batting and thread in it. So these could be used to hold a bowl that was already hot, but you'd still have to set it in there, you know, after you heated it. We've also made a tooth fairy pillow last week. There's a little pocket for the tooth to go in. And the first project was this little hedgehog. I'm just sharing our previous projects real quick. And here's some sachets to stick, you know, in your car's glove box or in your lingerie drawer or anywhere you want a little scent. I made a little tiny pouch that you could do up, fill with a little candy, and then just hand them out. These would be good at Christmas too if you just use Christmas fabric. Hi, Susan. Hi, Tanya. Okay. Hi, Gloria. And this is a scissor keeper made from a pot holder, which I showed you how to do a pot holder too, since I could not find pot holders with the hanger on the corner. But you put your scissors in, and this will hold several pair of scissors. And then you can hang it from somewhere nearby, like on a wall or a drawer full, something like that. And we made a gift bag, which you can change the size of the gift bag just by changing your measurements. This came out to be a really nice size for maybe a batch of cookies for a neighbor or something. So that's something we made. We made mug rug. So you have room to put your mug here and a couple cookies here so you don't make a mess at your desk. That's a good teacher's gift. Super easy to do. I'm dropping that magazine. I'll get it. I want to do that last. And then I'll set these aside. And we made an apron that's reversible last week. So if you go to last week's video, you can see how we did that. I show you how to draw the pattern and everything. And then the last thing we made was these fabric coasters. And I had put a message to go and leave a comment on that video. And only 6 of y'all did it. So I've already gone through random.org, the comment picker from the video. There were 6 comments, and it picked Eva. So Eva Vila, I'm going to be sending you these 4 handmade fabric coasters. So congrats to Eva. Yay, Eva. And let's see. I got some mail today that I want to share real quick. I even brought paper scissors over here so I won't accidentally use my fabric ones. But isn't this envelope pretty? This came from Kendra. So while I don't want to start on the actual sewing bee session for today until it's 2:30 to give everybody a chance to get here. I'm hoping I'm not cutting through anything. And I did not bring a trash can over here. I need to go grab a trash can. Oh my goodness. Let's see. I wasn't expecting anything from Kendra, so this was a surprise. It looks like a pattern for something. Oh, it's a 10, 12, 14. That would fit Abby. And I know a lot of people use the old patterns and just chop them up. I actually still sew. So this one's been cut out in a size 3. It's a new look pattern. That's awesome. So cute. And then she's got this one here, just to say hello card. Isn't that a precious little dress? Look at that. And see, I might use the excess material with the pattern, but I won't use the pattern pieces because I still sew. So let's see what Kendra says. This is a card she made. It's really pretty. I found these patterns in my stash and thought of you. I really don't know if they're vintage or not. If you can't use them, feel free to pass along to someone else. I think they're awesome. This one especially. See, this is how you can tell they're older patterns. I haven't seen a pattern for less than $1 in ages. This is so stinking cute. I don't know what size this has been cut out in. Says it's, oh wait, I'm not sure what size this is. Oh, size B. So it is a 4, 5, 6, which that's perfect for Madeline too. So I might actually make these up for Maddie. So Kendra, if you're watching the replay or if you pop in, thank you so much. I will definitely use these. We have a friend whose great aunt used to sew, and she kept every pattern in this old store on their property. And I told them, I said, you know, you're sitting on a gold mine of vintage patterns. You could sell them on eBay for $12 or $14 a piece, but I don't think she believes me. You know, patterns from as far back as the 40s and 50s. Oh, yeah. There's several young ladies on YouTube that actually, that's all they do is vintage sewing, which fascinates me. My sister participates in the SCA, so I've sewn some medieval type gowns for her, but I like the 50s and the 40s styles a lot. So let's see, it is $229, and I only had in my book listed 2 projects, a wine bag and a Christmas stocking. So I get this magazine. You have to buy this magazine over the newsstand or at the grocery store. You cannot get a subscription to this one. You can get a subscription to their sister magazine or parent magazine, which is this one here, American Patchwork Quilting. But this one I love because it's Quilts and More. So you get projects like this sweet little bird, or look at that Christmas tree skirt. Hi, Isla. And this is a little storage cube that you sew up patchwork, but it's got all kinds of stuff. So I started reading through this last night. She talks about, right here, they're talking about the 1 million pillowcase challenge. And there's a link to that farther back in the book. And I was just looking through, and this caught my eye right here. It's a wine bag. And I was going to do just a simple wine bag. This one's kind of simple, but I like this one better because you can put the bottle down in and then you have a place to carry it. Whereas if you did like a drawstring bag, it would be a little bit harder to carry. So I thought, well, I'll just share this, spread the word about all people All People Quilt is the website, and they put out Quilts and More and the American Patchwork. So if you went to allpeoplequilt.com, you have to sign up to get like their newsletter, and it doesn't cost you anything. And then you get access to the patterns that are actually in the magazine. So if you can't find the magazine, you can go to allpeoplequilt.com and get the patterns there. They do ask that if you use their pattern to make a single item, that you give the magazine credit and the designer credit. And so what I've done is I printed the pattern off from the website, and I forgot the printer was set up to print front to back. So I'm going to have to trace the pattern, which that's fine. I can trace it, and then I can keep this intact with the original pieces. And what I'll do is attach an envelope with the pieces I trace out in, so I don't have to trace them again later. Because I think this would be a fun little gift for somebody that drinks wine, which Scott's sister loves wine. So I'm going to start with this one here. Like I said, the pattern is free on their website. The designer's name was Joyce Decunzo, D-E-C-U-N-Z-O. So thanks to Joyce, we get to make this together. Hi, Barb. Hi, Zoe, Sherry. So I'm going to make this first, and I'm just going to pick out some. I've got my Christmas fabric here. I'm going to move this out the way so I don't misplace it. Every time I do one of these sewing bees, I have to completely tear my house apart to set up in this other corner. So I've got my tub of Christmas fabric out from under the bed. It's got some Halloween stuff in on top. But let's see. It says I need a 6x9 piece of fussy cut print for the carrier front. I think I'm just going to do mine. I don't have anything I can really fussy cut, I don't think. So I was just going to do mine just a solid fabric. Just cut it out and put it together. I like the concept of having a decorative side, but I just don't think I have anything in my stash that I could do that with. Well, I don't know. I maybe could do a little scene. Maybe I'll change my mind. Let me see what I've got. The problem's going to be matching that vintagey red, I think. I should have picked this out earlier. No, that doesn't work. I might skip that idea and go back to just doing it all one. This is really pretty. Let's just do it all in reindeer. Ow, pinched my finger, that stupid thing. All right. I need to adjust this camera thing. It's driving me crazy. The problem I have is I just have to learn to use this space, Gloria. That's all. There's nothing I can do about it because we're not going anywhere fast. It's going to be a while before we get into another house. So I just have to realize I just have to move things around. All right. When you go from a 2,600 square foot house to a 600 square foot house, adjustments have to be made. That's all. So I've got my iron here. And this gives me something to do. I didn't mean to sound negative. I'm hoping I'm not plugging too much into this strip. It may go. I'm going to turn the space heater off so that when this iron is getting hot, it doesn't do anything crazy. All right, so I need this fabric ironed, but while the iron's getting hot, I'm going to trace the pattern pieces, which is basically this circle. And I could probably cut that out, but you know, I would be taking some of my other. So it's no biggie. I've got pattern stuff that I can trace with. And I don't need a lot because it's just a little pattern. Tippy, you want to go outside? They've been stuck in today and they're not happy about it. It's been raining and nasty. So I'm just going to trace that. I already have a pattern for the stocking drawn up, so I'm not going to draw that up. Hi, Mary. We're working on this wine bag to start. I'll just use this. All right. Whoops. Mary's right. When you're sitting down, it changes your perspective for sure. All right. Now, it's got little dots. You have to transfer those because that'll be where you meet up things on the sides of it. This is the bottom. Craft and carry circle pattern. And the dashed line, that's your stitching line, which it looks like it's going to be 1/4 inch. Now I'm going to, normally what you would do is you would have this piece cut out and then you'll attach it to the other piece. So what I'm going to do is just trace this one and then I'll flip it over and just add the rest. I am not copying the stitching line because I've got a mark on my sewing machine that's at the 1/4 inch. You just have to get it kind of close to the line. So this little mark is B, and then there's a little circle here for A, and then they're showing a dashed line there and a little dot, 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 dot across here. So I'm just going to put a few dots to line up. You'll see what this goes here. Oh, and then if you've changed anything or your printer set up another way, they give you a little box down here that says should be 1 inch square. That way you can tell if your pattern is sized correctly. If this doesn't measure 1 inch, then you've got something set wrong and your pattern's not going to turn out as they have drawn it up to. All right, so here on this side, here's your A, here's your B. You just line those up. There's A, and then there's B. And then this is going to be placed on the fold. That's what this dash line means on this pattern. Sometimes they do it like a dash line, and then sometimes they'll do a parentheses like this and say on fold like that. And see, I could have probably drawn this faster and straighter if I'd brought a ruler over and laid it on top. And then they're showing that the stitching line comes all the way down here, but not on the bottom. And that's because we got to fit that round circle up and stitch around it. So that's it, 2 pieces. Let me put Tippy out, guys. You can make you a little, one of those that goes around your neck, like a little shoppers. Have you ever seen the little shoppers mini bags that you just would wear across your body? And it's just a little bag and it folds up on itself and you put your credit cards and some cash in it. And those are so stinking cute. I don't have instructions for them right away. Maybe that's something we can do one Wednesday night. Come on, Tippy. You got to quit playing the blinds. I know. It's like a blues song by the cat. Come on. I know it's wet. I can't do anything about that. I think I have instructions on how to do that in an old All People quilt or Quilts and More. So when I cut something out, you cut to the outside of the line. You don't cut your line off. You know, you have your pattern pieces. We might have to do that next Wednesday night. I'll look and see if I can find it. I'll have to just drag my sewing machine over to the table for the shorter sessions because there's no way I can move everything around to set up here on the other side of the room. All right. Now, the reason I'm thinking they had this really in 2 places is so if you wanted to cut, you know, the fussy cut little square rectangle, you would just cut it up to the AB portion, this rectangle here. That's what you would do for your fussy cut rectangle. But since I don't have any fabric, well, I have some fabric. I just don't have any fabric that matches it. My problem's going to be sewing in the round on this tight circle, but I'm going to do my best. I've never made one of these, so you guys are going to be making one along with me. I'm going to try to read the instructions and go slowly so that I don't mess up and have to show you what a seam ripper is important for. All right. I'll look it up, Mary, and see if I can find it. Hi, Katrina. Oh, I'm sorry, Gloria. It's supposed to clear off here and be beautiful here tomorrow, knock on wood. So I've got my pieces cut out. So now I'm going to go back over here. I've still got to iron the fabric. All right. So if I was going to do the fussy cut front, you need a 6x9 piece of fabric to do like that. I do not have that. 3/8 of a yard contrasting print for the handle and the carrier back. 3/8 of a yard of coordinating print for the lining and fusible interfacing. Yardage and cutting instructions are based on 42-inch of usable fabric width. Measurements include a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Sew with right sides together unless otherwise stated. Cut your fabric. Cut pieces in the following order. The circle pattern and the wine carrier pattern are on pages 4 through 6. Note that the wine carrier pattern is a partial pattern. To make a complete wine carrier pattern, trace the partial onto a large sheet of folded paper, placing indicated edges on fold. Cut out and unfold, which I just traced this part, turned and connected them. So it's all one piece here. I may regret that in a little bit, but we'll see. Blah, 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 blah. From contrasting print, cut one 6.5 by 11.5 inch rectangle, a 6 by 9 rectangle, and one of the circle pattern. So apparently I need a second fabric. All right. Let me pull that Christmas fabric back up here and see what I can find that'll go with the reindeer. I should have picked my fabric out beforehand. Sorry, guys. I don't have a lot of Christmas fabric. See, this is another one I could have. I wonder if that matches good enough. I could have cut a 6 by 9 out of that. I might do that. Maybe I'll just use some candy on the inside or something. Ooh. Okay, look. I could do this and use that for my lining and have teddy bears on the outside, and the deer is my liner. That's what I'll do. So I don't need the candy anymore. All right. So let's see. I'm making a wine bag, and then we're going to do a Christmas stocking. All right. So first thing first, this is going to be let me look at the pictures. All right. All right. So this is the color, the one like that. Whatever they're saying. Let's see. Diagram 3. Let me see what diagram 3 is. Referring to diagram 3 and sewing only on the curved edges. Join step 3 wine carrier piece and lining piece. Okay. I wish over here where it tells you the cutting that they would tell you which one is for lining. Okay, I see. All right. You guys bear with me. I'm going to take care of the outside first. So we're going to cut. I only need to iron out a piece that's big enough for the 6 by 9. So I'm just going to do this family right here because that's three people there. And that's why I shouldn't have traced them together. Basically, I need this pattern piece on its own. I don't think I have enough paper left to do it. No. Okay. That's why I brought my fabric scissors over. Not my fabric scissors, but my paper scissors over here. Just in case I was going to have to cut on this paper. All right. So now let's see. There's a Merry Christmas here. I really wanted just the 3 bears. Some of that Merry Christmas is going to be there. Maybe I could do like this. Yes, I'm going to do a stocking next. And I think I would like to do one where we put a lot of lace on it. And I always put all the ornamentation on the front of the stocking and not too much on the back because nobody sees the back. So I always just decorate the front section before I put them together. Because most of the stockings you buy are like that too. You know, the front is the only thing that is decorated. But you know what? We went to Walmart to get some you know, toilet paper, paper towels, that kind of stuff. And they've already got the employees walking around with stuff in their hair and stuff. The little antennae with the green stuff in it. I said, this is just too early. I would be a stick in the mud at that job. Because, you know, oh, you know what? This says place on fold. But I think it says that. I don't know. It did say cut 2 6x9 rectangles. I'm going to cut these out. Remember, like I said, I've never made this pattern before, so bear with me. If I'm aggravating you, it's probably a good idea that you just go on. Anytime I'm trying to learn something with you guys, I get negative comments and thumbs down and all that stuff, which I think is ridiculous because then you go and you look at their channel. There's not one video on it. They're just trolls. And the lady I watch that's traveling around by herself in a camper that just lost her dog, she got a death threat, you guys. Sickos. If your life is so unimportant, you want to go and threaten somebody, a complete stranger's life, you've got some problems. Let's see. The pattern is called Happiness is Handmade, Craft and Carry. So it's some of this will be gone in seam allowance, you know, so I'm not going to worry about it. 6x9 rectangle. From contrasting print. Hi, Callie. She peeked through the door. All right, I need the teddy bears. And I'm pretty sure this is the 6x9 rectangle. I guess I should have checked that, hey? Yeah. Or thereabouts. I'm just going to use the pattern pieces. It's not 6x9. Mine might come out a different size than theirs. Let's see. I'm reading over this pattern because it makes no sense to me. Okay. No, it's got to be the same. All right. The place on the fold, I don't quite understand. I don't understand where the guidelines come in that they're using, because it's telling you to do one thing with the pattern piece, and then it's telling you another thing to do with the size of the fabric that you cut out. This fabric's kind of flimsy. Thanks, Mary. Carolyn came on and told us all about that yesterday and about what happened with her. And I was just so shocked that some people are so cruel. I guess nothing should shock me anymore. Now, you did not want any part of being in until you heard me talking. They don't like the fur on their paws to get wet. Oh my goodness. All right. All right, so I've got this. Sew together the fussy cut print and the contrasting 6x9 rectangles. Press seam in one direction. Add the contrasting print rectangle to the top edge of joined rectangles. Okay. All right. So I need to put this one on this side and this on this side. I'm going to get this ironed flat. What's bad is I'm dealing with two different weights. Hi, Adidel. How are you today? And I'm going to sew these two together on this edge here. I probably should have dug out some red thread. My problem is a lot of my thread is still down at the house, and I can't just run get it because it's a 2-hour drive one way. It'd take me 4 hours total to get back up here. All right, I'm just going to use the white thread that's in the machine. And I've got my quilting foot on here, which will give me a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So then it said to iron the seam one way. So what I do is I set the seam like this. And then I'm just going to grab my top fabric only. and I'll lay it across and kind of do a finger press on it. And then I'll just iron it on down. The thing you want to do is just press down, and then when you're going to move it, just make it a real light movement. Lift up a little bit. So just basically the heat is going on. You don't want to push down and iron because you'll warp the fabrics all up. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this instead of trying to cut another pattern and all that. I'm just going to use this piece that I have here, and I'll cut another rectangle. I'm going to have to iron this some first, of course. I'm trying to think of where I just cut that. I guess I cut it from the top up here. Hi, Susan. Haven't seen you in a little while. I've seen you in other people's lives, but I hadn't seen you here. So welcome back. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find this teddy bear that's upside down. So let's see. He's looking sideways. I was hoping to put his other half back together. Let's see. I think that's him right there. I don't think I can do it because it needs to be that way. All right, so we're not going to worry about that. I'm just going to cut another rectangle out. Here. I just have to be careful not to cut through the fabric that I've already sewn together. The teddy bear fabric is a lot thinner. The little teddy bears is a lot thinner than the big fussy cut teddy bear. All right, let's see if I can see this well enough that I'm not going to mess it up. Scott didn't want to go to work. He said, I just want to stay home with you. I was like, no, you have to go to work. I said, what are you for? We laugh and joke. Best way to get through life. He forgot to take his pain medicine this morning, so he was ill as a hornet at Walmart. I thought he was going to take somebody out. They were getting on his last nerve. I was like, be patient. Everybody's dealing with the rain. All right, so now they're saying to take the large rectangle and add it toward the top. So we'll just add it up here. I didn't cut that very straight. I just think it's wonky. Let's see here. It's a wine bag. It'll be all right. Yeah, they've got some pretty fabric for a change there at Walmart for Christmas. I was impressed. I'm just trying to use my stash from when I worked at Joann's some 10 years ago. I think it's been about 10 years since I worked there. So I worked 5 years at, yeah, it's been about 10 years. I worked 5 years at Michael's. And then we've been up here for going on 3 years. And yeah, so it's been about that long. All right, so I'll stitch these together along that long seam. And I always sew over onto a small scrap of fabric, so to save on thread and to not have a bunch of thread. Strands of thread just floating around. If you sew off onto a small little square, then you're not wasting thread, and with a big old long string pulled out, so you don't pull out from when you start sewing again. I just kind of work that over, and then I'll finger press with my fingers, and then I'm going to go straight down on it. And I'm lifting up when I move it and then pressing down. Lift up, press down, lift up, press down. Don't try to maneuver it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is they show what they did. I'll show you what they did. They put this whole thing on a fold of a paper. So pretend this is folded in half. And then they traced around it. So when they open it up, they'll have a pattern with 2 of these, and it'll come over here. I'm just going to use this like this, and I'm going to fold this in half. Like so. And then put this on the fold. So I need to flip this over so I'm going in the right direction. And I'm just going to place this on the fold like so. See that my printer must have been off because I'm off a little bit, but I'm going to go with what I have. I might make some adjustments on a future one, but this will give you basic instructions. And you'll see where I needed to. I didn't take the time to verify the pattern by measuring the little square, and I should have. I always pin at the fold first because then everything else will be in line. All right. Ow. Oh, I've got to have a circle of the little teddies too. All right. I lost a 1/4 inch where I sewed those 2 together because I did not add a seam allowance. Did they not give me, they didn't tell me to do a seam allowance, did they? No, they should have told me to add a 1/4 inch to that rectangle. So I'll make a note on here to add a 1/4 inch. So it should be 6. Instead of a 6 by 9, it should be a 6.5 by 9.5. I think. There's got to be a trick to sewing a circle in the bottom. We'll see if this goes totally awry on me, you guys. All right, so now if we take this and open this up. I should have the shape they show in the picture. Yeah. You know what? This almost looks like it'll hold one of those 20-ounce Coca-Cola bottles instead of a thing of wine, but that's okay. Just note that there may be some issues with their pattern. I need one of these. I can cut it out of here. So there's, I'll probably use just my, I'll just use my piece that I just constructed for a pattern for my liner, I think. I'm going to quickly cut this circle out because this is the bottom. I should have made one of these ahead instead of making y'all suffer with me trying to learn a pattern. All right, so there's that. All right. I'm not sure who wanted to see a wine carrying thing, but it was on my list of projects to do. I finished my Goodwill Challenge project, Mary, but I haven't got the video up yet. So I've got, after I get off from here, that I've got to work on that this afternoon, and that's kind of a perfect rainy day activity. No, that's right. You have to think about how it's going to go inside. I'm trying to get it to follow along with the grain of the fabric so that it doesn't twist on that hanger. Might have to look through my stash and see if I've got enough of any kind of cotton fabric to make that little dress pattern that Kendra sent me, because that is just too stinking cute. And it's got long sleeves, and all I would need to do is make the dress with long sleeves and then get her some tights. That's what my grandmother used to call them. I don't know what they're called now, but we wore a leotard and tights back then. At least I did. My grandma dressed me. She probably dressed me like she had dressed my mother. I was thinking the other day how my hair looks just like my grandmother's. All silver and curls at the ends, just like hers and everything. Somebody posted a thing about, do you remember your grandmother? And I was like, why would I not remember my grandmother? How would anybody not remember their grandma? I mean, to me, your grandparents are just treasures. I don't know how anybody could not remember their grandma. This time of year, I miss her soft molasses cookies that she would bake, and that I'd come home from school, even when I was in high school, and I'd come home and I could tell when it was fall because the whole house would smell of gingerbread. And she'd make those soft molasses cookies, or she'd make ginger snaps, or my favorite was the spice cake that she would make with burnt brown sugar frosting. That was so good. All of that kind of stuff I can't have anymore, but doesn't mean I don't miss it or crave it sometimes. It's just it makes me really sick now. I get real sick now when I eat sweets. Violently ill, it seems. So I try not to slip too often because I don't like to feel that sick. And if I was cutting this on the fold, this shape would be so much easier to cut out. I think it said I had to have a circle for this piece too. Didn't it? Yeah, a circle pattern. And I found out my great-grandfather was actually born in Kansas. So I would love to go to Kansas one day and just see if I can find any old records anywhere. All right, I need a circle too. Kelly got mad at me and left. All right. I got to figure out how to mark that circle too, because you got to mark that circle in fourths, I think. So that's the outside and the inside. Okay. So got the outside and the inside. I need a circle out of the green. And then we'll see if we can sew this thing into a bag. I do not have her original recipe for the soft molasses cookies. I wish I did, but I'm pretty sure it was out of a Betty Crocker, or no, Better Homes and Gardens cookbook, which I saw like 3 of those old Better Homes and Gardens cookbooks. I saw about 3 of them at the Goodwill the other day. I already own one. Greg has one. My grandfather, when he was still alive, at Christmas, the first year a couple was married, that's the gift he would give them, is a good a Better Homes and Gardens or Betty Crocker cookbook. it was either one or the other. But most of the time it was the red and white checked Better Homes and Gardens, because I think he liked the recipes in that one. I think he felt my grandmother had better success with that. But now Scott's mom, she swears by the Betty Crocker cookbook. I found an old cookbook that my grandmother had. See, when I moved away in 1982, my grandmother became under the care of my oldest uncle and his wife. And like all of my baby pictures went missing. Nobody knows where old cookbooks were. Nobody knows where all of her gardening books went. You know, they claim they don't know anything about my baby pictures. So my mom's given me a few, and I've shared them on Facebook, of me down at the creek when I was like 3 or 4, and me holding my very first cat, who happened to be pure white with blue eyes and deaf as a doornail. And his name was Caddy Cat, because at 1, that's all I could say. So yeah, I have a lot of animosity toward the extended family, in that they've lost basically all of my childhood pictures and claim they've never seen them, they don't know. And they all used to sit with me and Grandma and look through the old album the whole time I was growing up there. So I'm not going to think about it anymore because it made me cry. So anyway, let's get back to this. Let's see. Assembling the wine carrier, referring to diagram 1, which is over here. And we've done that. All right. I need to be putting some fusible interfacing onto what we constructed in step 1, which is this one. So I need to get behind me and get some interfacing and cut it out to the shape and fuse it on, which won't be hard because that's right here behind me. Now the choice is, that is way too hard. That's fusible. Let's see here. Yeah, this is a fusible interfacing. I'm just going to pull this over here. See if I can just cut a square off about the size we need. I've got a big old honk and roll of it. That's why I'm saying that. Okay. I needed to get them to give me a fabric board to put that batting on, or not batting, but interfacing, because I bought almost the whole bolt, and I should have just asked them for an empty bolt when I bought it, because this is one of my favorite interfacings. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut this out before I fuse it so I don't get any fusing on my iron. Yeah, my grandmother's, I swear her soft molasses cookie recipe had a teaspoon of vinegar in it. And I don't know if that was because it had originally called for buttermilk and she was just using regular, you know, from the cow's milk, and to put the little bit of vinegar in to sour it. I don't remember. It's been a while. I myself at World Market, they have those. This is my all-time favorite cookie. They have this tin that they sell at Christmas. It's like $9. And it's got the most thin ginger snap cookies in it. And they are so delicious with a cup of tea. Oh, my word. I might have to hint at Greg because he lives closer to a World Market than I do up here. The one that's up here is over on the side of Greenville, where all of the mall and the heavy traffic is. And I used to drive in all that traffic all the time to get across town to go to work at Michael's. I just I don't like driving in traffic anymore. I don't know what it is. I used to do it every morning at sometimes 2:30 in the morning. I'd be going into work. One night or early morning, whichever way you want to look at it, there was a lady coming straight down I-26, wrong side of the road. She was going south. I was going north. The cops had her pinned against the wall. They had to basically force her into the median wall to get her to stop. She was so drunk or high or something. I don't know. We've always told Greg, if you get inebriated, you are to call somebody. You are not to get behind the wheel, ever. If you find the desire to do that. All right, so now we'll cut this out, and then I'll fuse this on the back. Yeah, Susan, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe the vinegar she put in was because it was called for buttermilk. This is going to sound funny, but Grandma, she'd make the soft molasses cookies, and then she'd make Dream Whip. Do y'all remember Dream Whip? Has anybody ever used that, or do you still use it? It comes in on dry form, and you mix it with milk, and it makes like fake Cool Whip. And we would put a molasses cookie in a bowl, and then we'd pile it high with Dream Whip. I grew up on a dairy farm, and I never remember us having real whipped cream, which makes no sense because you could go out and just pull some heavy cream off the top of the milk vat if you were careful. Just let it set, and then the fat rise. And I don't know. I never had it until Scott's mom made real whipped cream for pumpkin pie the first year we were together. And before that, I'd never had real whipping cream. And growing up on a dairy farm, I guess they didn't want to take the fat away because you get paid, a little better for a better fat content, I think, when the milkman comes. When I was a real little girl, we had the most delightful man was our milkman, and he would come in the semi-truck to get the milk, and he called me Blondie. And then he just quit coming one time, and I never knew why. And years later, I asked about him, and my uncle told me, "Oh, you didn't know he was killed in an accident when you were little." It just about broke my heart to know that Mr. Man that called me Blondie had been killed all those years. I didn't find out about it until I was about 16. But, icy roads in upstate New York can be dangerous. My brain is dwelling on things I shouldn't be dwelling on. Rainy weather makes me dwell on things. I don't know why. Let it go, let it go, let it go. All right. I thought, this will be a quick project. We can zip these out in no time. The rate I'm going, we're going to be here all night. And we got to be off here because Mary's got to come on. And I don't want to mess her up. Let's see here. If this takes much longer, I really thought it was going to be. Oh, I love Dream Whip. And Grandma would make, oh, I don't remember the setting on this. I think it's no steam. You don't have any more interfacing? The only reason I have so much is I bought a head when I was still working at Joann's so I could get it with my employee discount. That's something I do miss, employee discounts at Michael's and at Joann's. But everything has changed so much there, I don't think I'd want to go back. When a company goes public like that, and Michael's went from being a privately held store to a public held, it just changes everything because the dynamic goes from customer service and fun to profit, 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 and make everybody happy that's got money invested, and it takes away the people value. And I think I wouldn't like that because I enjoyed helping people with their projects and, you know, helping them find stuff in the store and that kind of stuff. All right. I'm trying to think of what you could do if you don't have any interfacing. It's basically to give it body. So I'm not sure. I don't know if there's a substitute for interfacing. I don't know if Tanya's listening and has a substitution for if you don't have interfacing on a project. I have plenty of time. All right. See, that makes this a little stiff. Gives it some body. All right. Okay, so we've put the interfacing on the back. Referring to diagram 2, place the wine carrier pattern on fused step 1 unit with pattern folded line center on seam. Trace pattern and cut out. What? All right, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, referring to diagram 2. This is 2. Place wine carrier pattern on fused step 1. Oh, okay. So what they did is they fused interfacing over the entire piece when it was just 2 rectangles. So they put the interfacing on and then did the cutouts. So I did it backwards, but end result is the same. So referring to diagram 3 and sewing only on curved edges, join step 3 wine carrier, which is this, and the lining wine carrier piece, and then clip the seam allowances. So they want you to sew only the curved edges, so only up to the top, and then you stop. You don't sew this straight spot. Then you're going to sew the curved edge here, stop, don't do this part, and then do this section. So we have to get those circles out of the way. We'll need those later. So say we got this here. Since I had it balled up over there, I'm going to iron it just a little bit.
It almost looks like a little pair of overalls sitting there. All right. So we'll put these on here. I'm going to stand up so I can see what I'm doing. Line these up on here. All right. I'm going to just put pins in the areas that I'm going to actually sew. So the curved edges. I might have to look for some fun prints. I wish I could find, like they've used this pretty Christmas tree. That would be fun to do. Although I'm probably only going to give one bottle of wine. Because I don't think anybody else in the family drinks wine. I think the kids would get a hoot out of some sparkling cider or something. They could act like they're getting wine for Christmas. My aunt gave me wine. Not really, just sparkling ginger ale. All right. Well, I had fun with the Goodwill challenge. I made something kind of what we make all the time, but turned out really cute. So all right, so I'm going to stitch on my curved edges. And when you stitch and you come down and you're coming around to a point like this, always remember to stop with your needle in the fabric. And then you can just turn the whole thing. You can pivot it on the needle and you don't miss it. Okay. That sounds good, Mary. I can do Sunday. All I've got to do is all the editing and putting all the pieces together and that kind of stuff. And OpenShot makes it go really fast. And once I put it through OpenShot Video Editor, it uploads really kind of quick to YouTube. All right, let's see. Again, this is a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If you take your time, you can get around the curve so much easier. And I do take a couple back stitches at the end of each seam. All right. Ow! Pin got me. Felt great. Really, it did. All right. I need to cut this free so I can have it when I get to the end over here. Make sure I'm not bleeding all over the place. There we go. I've already stepped on a piece of glass from that dish I broke last week. So I feel like I don't know. I'm a hazard today. I wanted to get down to Hobby Lobby while they've got the McCall's patterns on sale. I wanted to look and see if they've got anything new in that I don't already own. I own just about all the standard patterns, but I like to look at them. If you look, when you go in and you're looking at a pattern book, this is just a tip. If you've never sewn before, if you want to see just the latest styles they've put out, that's just the very first few pages. It'll say new this fall, and it'll have just all the very new patterns in the very front of the book. As you go back to the book, some of those patterns, they've been in the same catalogs over and over, just made up in different fabric. Just an FYI. All right, needle down. And then I'm going to go again here. I did a few back stitches. I'm on my last seam. Trying to get that thread to go in the guide. Doesn't want to though. There we go. Then I'll sew off onto my scrap of fabric. And then I've got some snipping to do because I just went from one short seam to another here. Ethel and Boots really get a lot of miles on her car. They come and go all the time. I am so glad she's got that little companion. All right. All right. So we've done the curves, and I bet they're going to tell us to clip the curves. Sewing only the curved edges. Join step 3, wind carrier piece and lining carrier pieces, which I did. And then clip your seam allowance along the curves just to the seam lines, being careful not to clip your stitching. So you're just going to clip in the curves, almost over to the seams. Ooh, I almost snipped that one. And it only has to be on the most curved sections, like definitely at the point down here. I don't want to clip through. The little scissors I have with the fine points actually work better for this. Let me see if this pair will do. Where's my gingers? The gingers have a really nice point to them, and they're very sharp. I forgot I bought these. I think I got these, and they were getting rid of this style of handle, and so these were on closeout one time. And I said, you know, I'm going to treat myself to a pair of gingers. Y'all know gingers are not cheap scissors. We used to have to lock them up. They were kept under the counter locked up. So about every half an inch, make just a little clip over to your seam. And by doing this, it'll lay flatter for you. It'll turn on out. So now we've clipped the curves, being careful not to clip your stitches. And now we're going to turn the handles right side out. And that's why you don't sew the straightaway up here, because you're going to turn your handles right side out now. Let's see. This is the type of activity that makes my hands hurt. Hang on just a sec. I've got a turner tool. Let me go grab it. Come on. Now don't just take your time, Prissy. Go on, go eat. Oh my goodness. I wanted to have more time for the stocking because I wanted to decorate it up pretty. Because you can use any old kind of trim you have in your stash, lace, flat trims, ruffles. You can use all kinds of stuff. So there's one handle turned right side out. Let's get this one started. Hey, Janet. I'm making it's called a craft and carry, but it's really a wine tote. I saw boom, boom, and it's Howard. The rain has stopped, so they're all what? All right, I'm going to leave it cracked, and you guys can come and go. Just do not bring me a snake, a mouse, a frog. Don't bring me any treasures into the house. And I'll leave the door open for you for a little bit. All right. Oh, dear. Okay, I just messed up. Turn only the right hand handle portion right side out. Insert, I messed up. So you only turn one of them right side out. So I'm going to assume this is the right and this is the left. So I'll turn this back wrong side out. You don't turn them both. I guess I should have read farther. Turn only the right hand handle portion right side out. Insert it into the left hand handle portion. Make sure the lining sides are facing. Okay. So let's get this turned wrong side out again. Learning as I go. Learning as I go. All right. So now we've got this here, and we want to insert it inside this other one. I've never made one like this, you guys. So this is new. And you want to, what did it say? Make sure your lining sides are facing one another. Okay. This is not easy. I need Tanya to give me a trick. Because you got to kind of stuff this up in. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. So now you're going to match these up. All right. So I've got lining, lining, outside, outside. All right, and you want to line your seams up. There's got to be a trick to this. There's something I'm missing. All right. Okay. All right, there. Now I finally got it. And now what do? Sew across your straight edge through all of the layers to make the handle. Oh, this is going to be one of those. It's like, pow, magic. All right, so then you sew across here. If it'll do it. I'm back stitching away. All right, and then I will stitch across there. All right, and then it says pull their handles out and lay the entire piece right side up. Diagram 6. All right, so we're just going to pull this back out of there. And voila, it's one piece. That is so stinking cool. Okay. So figure 6. All right. So you're going to open this up like this now. Here. Let's see, what does it say? Because the picture's not making any sense to me. Oh, this way back. Durr. All right. All right, this is the part I'm not real sure about what the meaning. So let me pay attention here. Pull the handle out and lay the entire piece right side up like diagram 6. Fold entire piece in half lengthwise, matching your seams, and then sew your side seam. All right, so where this seam is, you want to make sure those two match up. There and there. Well, I'm going to start pinning at this bottom corner. I'm sure you could probably do it without pinning, but I think I'd be more comfortable putting a few pins in along the way. I think the most difficult part is going to be sewing that circle on the bottoms. And see there, my seams are matching up, which is good. Just when you stitch this together, make sure you don't, get your handle in the middle of the mess. Bear with me, guys. My hands don't always, they don't always go the same way my brain is telling them to. All right, everybody's came in, got a snack, went back out. But do they close the door behind them? No. I worry about Callie bringing me treasure like a dead frog. All right, so now you're going to stitch just the side. Don't stitch your bottoms. These are your bottoms. This is where those circles are going to go somehow. We'll figure that out here in a minute. So I'm going to sew the long edge here. Need to move that other pin. Sure sounds different when you start going over that thicker interfacing that I've used. All right, where's my little piece of fabric I used to sew over onto? All right, so I've got a tube now. So now what do we do? So that's diagram 6. Turn your entire piece right side out, then insert the bag body inside the bag lining. The wrong side. Well, it's first things first, turn it completely right side out. So we'll just pull this down. But if I gotta have the red to the outside, right? So I'll just turn it this way, maybe. Easier said than done, apparently. All right. Wow. I'm glad I already have the pattern drawn up for the stocking. Okay. So now, I think I have to have a piece of interfacing for the bottom too, don't I? Turn the entire piece right side out, then insert bag body inside bag lining with wrong sides together. Lining should be facing out. Oh, for crying out loud. Lining should be facing out, Becky. Hi, Sharon. All right. So if your lining is on the outside, that's the way it's supposed to be. Okay. This thing's going to be so easily turned from one side to the other. It's not even funny. All right. So now it looks like this. I feel bad for Joyce. I'm just butchering her plan here. That's the designer of this pattern. She's probably going, no, you're doing it all wrong. Not that she's watching. It's just, you know, you think about these things when you're trying to make something for the first time on camera.
My goodness, somebody's very chatty. Okay. So I've never made one of these. This is very interesting. Okay. All right. Lining should be facing out. Baste your bottom raw edges together about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and then turn entire piece wrong side out. Huh? It is wrong side out. It said, oh, I'm so confused. All right, just baste the bottom, Becky, and don't worry about the next step until you've done that. Maybe things will make sense to you next. So you're just going to baste, which is do a long stitch, just real close to the edge. I'm going to lengthen my stitch to about a 3.5, 4, almost a gather stitch. And it's not going to fit. It's not going to fit over my arm on my sewing machine. So we'll stitch it from the inside. Mary's saying, just baste it by hand, which I probably could have done. All right, I basted it. I basted around, see the basting stitches here, and I got just the edge on that. I'm not going to do anything with this until I've prepared the round bottom bits here. I think we need a piece of interfacing for these too. Turn entire piece wrong side. See, when it says turn entire piece wrong side out, to me this is wrong side out. But then at the top of this number 7, it says turn entire piece right side out, then insert your bag body inside the bag lining with wrong sides together. Lining should be facing out. Do you see where I'm getting confused on that? Then you baste from the bottom edges together about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and then you turn the entire piece wrong side out. This is wrong side out. Okay, so we're going to just leave it like that. Following manufacturer's instructions, fuse interface circle to wrong side of contrasting print circle. Lay your fuse circle wrong side together with lining circle. This is the lining. Baste your raw edge 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Fold step 8 circle in half twice and mark your quarter marks with pins. Unfold. Fold bottom of bag into fourths and mark with pins. Unfold matching quarter marks and sewing with right sides together. Join
circle and bottom of bag with a 1/4 of an inch seam, zigzag around the edges, turn right side out to complete your wine carrier. So leave it with your lining outside. That's what we need to do. So on here, I need to put a piece of interfacing. So did I have any piece that got cut away that was quite big enough? Not quite. I've got lots more. I'm going to go close that door because I'm afraid of some critter climbing in. I love these gangers. They just cut through like butter. All right, let me close this door again since the cats are done in and outing. At least until I close the door. Ethel's got her posse over there. There's 2 other ladies and the dog. All walking around in the yard. They must have gone out for lunch. I need to get Ethel. We need to go up and have us some seafood one night when Scott's working. Maybe I'll do that one night next week. She doesn't like to leave Boots alone in the house. So I'm not sure what we do with the dog. But the dog goes everywhere. And I don't want to leave her in the car. We'll work something out. All right. So I'm going to put these in here. And I fuse this on. And then we're going to do what after we do this? Layer your fused circle wrong side together with your lining circle. And then we're going to do an 1/8 of an inch basting stitch around this. And then half it and mark each where it folds. We're going to mark it with a pin. And then we'll do the same thing with our wine bag. And once we get this circle sewn in the bottom, this is done. So I am happy about that. I'm kind of glad not too many family members like wine now. I mean, this is going to turn out so cute. It's just not quite what I was expecting. Now, do I have that? Yeah, I do. Well, hi, Dawn. Dawn Boss. Sharon Lombard's here. Hi, Ruth Lamb. I'm going to be so glad to move on to the stocking, you guys. Now, the stocking is a pattern I drew up last year, I think it was, or the year before, to make Scott a stocking because we don't have any grandchildren and our son is grown. So I told Scott, I said, let's just have a stocking for each other and we can fill it with just little funny bits like, you know, sometimes I give him lumps of coal, you know, that kind of stuff. All right, so I'm going to put this on here. All right, so the circles don't quite they don't quite match. It's going to be close enough. I'm just going to go around an 1/8 of an inch from the raw edge. And then we'll do the whole pinning it, put pins in every quarter. I'll show you here in just a sec. If you make any turns, remember to always turn with your needle down in the fabric. you're just basically basting these layers together so they don't shift around while you sew them into the bottom of your bag. I'm going to see who's pinging me. I think it's Janet. I need to turn the messages off so I don't get them during my live. All right. So here we go. We got this thing. Now, they said fold it in half. All right. And where they fold in half here, we're going to put a pin right there. And a pin right there. And then we'll fold it in half this other way. All right, so you look like you got a compass now, north, south, east, and west on it. Oh, okay, Janet. I'll let it slide. All right, so I'm going to use my two side seams as one of my locators, like that. And then, now Janet was just making my phone go ping, 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 ping. No biggie over here. All right. So I'm trying to find my quadrants here. Oh, I'm having a hard time wrestling this thing here. All right. So now you want to do right sides together. So the teddy bears are on the inside and my reindeer are on the outside. So I'm just going to match this pin up with this pin and pin all my layers together. And then I'll match these two pins up. And I don't remove my hand from it once I decide where they're going to be. And then I'll match these two pins up. I'd love to make a trip up to Asheville to Foam and Fabrics at some point, but it's going to be a while. We got to get that taxes on the house paid first. Am I off camera? I am. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just matching the pins up, and then I take one of them out, and while I still have it pinched, I just reposition the pin where I had marked that quadrant. And then I'm just going to maybe put one more pin in between them. I just don't know how I'm going to sew this on the machine, to tell you the truth. This is pretty tight. Howard keeps putting his paws on the door with his paw wide open, and then he just kind of floats down the window. He's the one that tears the screen all up. So we pulled the screen all out because he likes to play in the screen. I don't know how to break him of that. After we move out, I'll come back and fix the door for Adele. Because, all right, somehow now, brown cow. Let me see if they give us some kind of trick. I'll show you what I've got. See how I've pinned that together? Let's see if there's some trick to sewing this like this. No, not a lick. It says do a 1/4 inch seam around and then zigzag around the edges and then turn it right side out. Man, I wish I had my serger up here. I would sew. Oh, Tanya had to go. You're okay, Janet. Don't worry about it. All right, I'm gonna try sew this on here. Would you put it like this and sew it? Or would you do it with the circle up? I don't know. I've never made one of these. Guess we'll find out if I mess it up. It doesn't help. I've got a distraction. His name is Howard. And he is a feline. Let me go let him in. Oh, we're almost done with this. It's only taken how long? Oh, my goodness. 2 hours to do one wine thing. Oh, it's a 2-for-1 deal. Okay. 2 for 1. The third cat must have got trapped at the neighbors when the dog showed back up. Keep them out of my closet. Okay, guys, I'm going to try sewing this together. I really don't know which way is the easiest way to do it. Oh, boy. Let's see if I can get it in there. Oh, you know what? I need to put that back down. When you have to do any adjusting, make sure your needle is in the fabric so you don't, I don't know what I'm going to end up with here, guys. It might be just a holy disaster. Trying not to sew my fingers. Oh, I don't know if anybody else is working, but I don't know if on one of these, but I don't know if you're having any better or worse luck than me. Sometimes I wish we could just have everybody on video at the same time and, you know, see what everybody else is doing. As cute as this thing is, I think I like just a drawstring bag. I don't know what I've got here. I think I've totally blew it. No, don't do that. All right, let's see what we got. I got to peek and see what I've got real quick. Let's see here. And then it says to zigzag my edges, but let me see if I've got. Well, I kind of caught most of the fabric. I'll show you guys what I've got. See, I kind of missed right there. This is hard to sew. So I'm going to go around again with a zigzag stitch and try to finish this edge off. So let me do a zigzag, which means I got to change this foot out because it's not made for zigzagging. That one is. Callie, your timing sucks. Just saying. All right, I need to do a zigzag. Callie, stop that. Little monkey. Being slamming things around like a caged animal. Oh my goodness sakes. Guys, I've been going to challenge myself to complete every project in one of these magazines before. So one project done in here. I don't know if I'll do this wine bag again or not, unless I watch some more videos on doing wine bags like this. They might have a video on how she does it on that website too. Callie, stop. You're going to have to wait a minute. Don't be a butthead. I'm almost done, you little monster. No, don't grab the needle. All right. Who wants to go out? We all do. We all do. All right. It doesn't look too good on the inside, but this is not going to be seen from the outside here in just a minute. Let me throw some cats to the lid. Come on, guys. Come on. Who's going? She jumped on your head, didn't she, Howie? What? Okay. All right. Let's see if I can turn it right side out and have it look like anything besides a hot mess. Let's see what the outside
Let's see if it looks worthy of anything. The bottom is not perfect. And I don't think there's any bottle of wine going to fit in this thing. It looks awful small. So there's my bottom. Doesn't look totally horrendous. So there we go. One project done. So did anybody make one? Have you had better success with getting the bottom in than I did? See, sewing bees are not really all about lessons. It's sewing together so everybody can learn from each other. Thanks, Dawn. I struggled with that bottom, but by golly, I got her done. There's no reversing this with how hideous it looks down inside, but something like this, but with a bigger bottom, would be nice to hang over a doorknob to collect things that you want to move back to an area that you've used them out of, you know, to help you stay organized. What is that? That's a thread. It just needs to be clipped. And how about that? You don't see any stitching. All the stitching is hid. I like that. All right, so we made a sort of wine bag. It'll hold a very small bottle of wine. All right. So now let's make a stocking. Stockings are so much easier. I'm glad I started with a more difficult project. All right. I will hold on to this pattern and I may try it again in the future. Again, I got the this pattern for this thing, this craft and carry. I got it from allpeoplequilt.com and it's free. It's a free pattern. Okay, so I might try it again and maybe with me not being, you know, on camera, maybe it'll go a little smoother. But all in all, I like how it turned out. I like the little bears on the front. So anyhow, stocking time. Now, I just hand drew this. So there is no pattern. I made a big fat stocking because I made it for Scott. So I can tell you some measurements if you want to, because basically what I did is I just hand sketched a big old boot or sock shape. This is from the bottom of the toe area to the top, about 18 inches tall. The width of the foot from toe to heel is 13 inches. The top measures about 8 inches across the top. Oh, Ruth, that's a great idea. Ruth is saying to put holly in it like a vase or some other dried floral. If I put one of the round discs of styrofoam in the bottom, you could pick anything in there, like berries. Picks of berries would be pretty in there too. That's a cool idea. If I don't use it for a bottle of wine, that's it. That'd be great. Oh, another measurement you might need is how wide the toe is from the bottom to the top. It's about 6.5 inches. So I can write these measurements on here. So from where the sock is the very bottom of the sock, the farthest distance to the top is about 17.5 inches, 17.5 to 18 inches tall. So from down there to the top. From toe to heel, this stocking is 13 inches. All right. The toe part measures about 6.5 inches from the bottom to the top of the foot. 6.5 inches. The tip of the toe to where it starts going up and curves up is about 6 inches to about here. 6 inches. Then across the top, I said is about 8 inches across at the top. Now, some of this you'll lose some of the space for the seam allowances. So depending on if you use a 1/4 or a 1/2 inch seam allowance, you know, it'll decrease the size of the stocking depending on how much you do. But this is a good size stocking, you guys. And I'm thinking about making some smaller stockings for little Christmas gifts for the littlest kids this year. You know, just a mini of this. So I wanted to, on this, I want to include a lot of lace and stuff. So I had thought about just doing something real kind of pastel-y. See, I have this with the peace doves on it. And I thought how pretty that would be with lace and stuff on. So I'm just going to use this. This is from Joann's. I'll tell you what year here in a minute if I can find it. Don't think I'm going to be able to find it. It's not showing visibly. I don't know. All right, this has been folded a different way. I'm going to fold it so it salvages together. Right sides together. Maybe if I can get this to cooperate. I've got enough here that I could make something out of this, like a blouse. But I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to press it good. And then I'll just cut my stocking out of this area here. Trying to think of what would be a pretty, wish I had some satin that I could line it with. All right. This is kind of going the opposite of the grain line would usually run this way, but it's a stocking. So I'm going to just cut it out this way and see what I get.
And I think I will put interfacing on the main fabric of this to give it a little stiffness. And what I'll do is I'm going to maybe do this part of the way, and then we'll finish it up Wednesday night by adding lining to it, because I would like some white satin to put on the inside of this stocking. But for today, we can cut it out and we can decorate the front of it with laces and stuff. And then Wednesday night, you can go ahead and sew your two halves together and leave the upper edge unfinished. And Wednesday night, I'll show you how to put a lining in it. And that won't take long. I'll have the lining already cut out and everything. I'm going to measure this again, and that way I'll know how much satin to go by. I could have swore I had some, but you know, I've got fabric here, there, and everywhere. I might look for it before I go anywhere to get any. All right. I still think this would make a pretty blouse, and I think I have enough. I think I have enough left here. I could make myself a little blouse. I'm going to save this out and look through my patterns and see if I've got one here that I could make myself a blouse. That would be nice to have at Christmas. All right. So let's get this cut out. And let's see. If I bought a half a yard would be, well, a third is what, 12 inches? Half of 36 is what? If you wanted to save a piece aside for your loop, we can do that. 2 put 1, 13 inches. 13 inches is that right? No, that's half of 26, half of 36. 16 inches. No, that's 32. 18 inches. 18 inches. Now, if you wanted to, what you could do is get plain white fabric. If you weren't planning to have any of the body of the fabric show, you're just going to cover it in laces and trims. You could just cut a base of just a plain white cotton and then just layer your trims on until the whole thing was covered in trims. That's always pretty too. So I drew this myself and then just cut it out. This one was drawn out on newsprint, if I remember right. I think the cats wanted me to know that dog was across the way. It was like they came and were like, come on, you got to see, you got to see. All right, so there's our stocking. Now, you got to think about, do you want your stocking to face toe that way or toe that way? And we're going to take whatever piece you decide you want as your, think about where it's going to hang, how it's going to hang. If you've got other stockings it's going to hang with, you kind of want them all kind of pointing the same way. At least most people do. So I like the toe to go to the right. So they hang like that. So you do not want this one because this is the opposite side of the stocking. What we're going to work with is this one. All right. So these will eventually, this one will attach to the back of this one. So what I want to do is I want to add trims and stuff to this one, then sew this one on top, turn it right side out, and then we'll add a lining to it on Wednesday night. We can go ahead and put our loop on. I'm going to save these two pieces, the pattern and the other piece, put them out of the way for a minute. We don't need them anymore. So I am going to cut I'll cut this in half. So about a 2x4 piece of scrap fabric. And what we'll do is we're going to make a loop out of one of these. And all you got to do is fold it in half and press it. You can do pet stockings if you want to and just decorate it any way you want to. I've seen them done to where they look like a dog or a cat. Just add a nose and stuff to it. But this is like an adult size stocking or a teenager size. All right, and then I'm going to fold the sides into the middle and fold it back in half. And I'm just going to press this good. If you want a longer tab, just make it more than 4 inches long. Okay. And I'm going to stitch down both sides of this. The first side I'm going to do is the side that is got the two folds that meet. And I'm just going to stitch on the edge. Oh, I've got a zigzag. I don't want a zigzag anymore. Okay. There we go. All right, so now you got a piece that looks like this. It's got some stitching close to the edge on both sides. And when we get ready to, we'll fold it in half and we'll tack it in place on the front of the stocking up at the top, kind of down the side just a little bit away, about the width of a seam allowance. So about a ½ inch down on the side, we'll attach it. But I don't want to attach it now because I want to get my trim on first. I am making a decorative stocking right now, and we just finished this wine bottle toady thing here. I don't know what you carry. It says a craft and carry. So you could put your water bottle in it too if you wanted to. And you can get this pattern for free from allpeoplequilts.com. It's one of my very favorite magazines. They do quilt patterns as well as projects like this and stuffed animals, various things. And they are also a place to find out more about the 1,000 or some, I don't know, the pillowcase project where they send pillowcases to sick kids or people in the hospital and stuff like that. So I'm just going to start grabbing trim and sewing it on. I want to come down away from the edge at least a ½ inch, because Wednesday night I'll have some kind of satin or something to line this, or some kind of fabric that I can use for a liner. But for right now, I just want to decorate this stocking up. So you can either start from the top and work your way down, or you can start down here at the toe and work your way back up. And I think I'm going to start at the toe and kind of work it at a 45-degree angle. And that way, as it goes up, it's easier to transition to the straighter. You know, as you come around the corner, you just kind of straighten it up. So I'm just going to grab stuff out of my lace drawer and put it on there. See, now like this here, this would be real pretty closer toward the top. And when I stitch this on, I would probably stitch along the straight line there and then along down here through here. And I wouldn't worry about the stuff in the middle. This has gotten horribly wrinkled. I don't know if I can rescue it or not. We'll see. So, let's see. I've got trims like this. I might want to stick with just variations of the white. So do y'all think I should stick with just white trims, or should I mix in some of this off-white? That looks like it's the wrong way. What would you do? Would you do some off-whites or just white? Some red. I'm digging, you guys. I'll look here in just a minute. There's another white. There's a red. Like I said, we could end up with nothing being visible. You prefer the white, but I like the style of off-white. There is some red in this But I don't like that. I think I'm just going to use the whites. And now you don't have to cover the whole thing from the toe all the way up if you don't want to. You can do just a band across the middle. Do I have blue? Ooh, I don't know, Sharon. Let's see. I guess I could turn the light on and I see better. Let's see what we've got here. Got this narrow little blue. That actually would look kind of pretty. Could just add a few bits of blues. I don't like the turquoise. And then I've got this little bit that's got just a tiny little bit of blue in it. Oh, this is a really wide, that won't work. That's just really, really wide. Yeah, I'm going to, if you layer it, it'll be more visible, Mary says. Okay. All right. I'm going to do widest to narrowest ribbons first. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tack some of this stuff down. Like maybe just tack some of this, and I'll worry about cutting it even later. Uh-oh, that shifted on me. All right. That way you can see some of the doves through part of it. I'm going to move this iron because it's pretty hot, and I don't think we're going to need it now that we're messing with the lace. I'm just going to move it. All of the kitties are outside, so they won't get on it. I just don't want to get burned. I unplugged it too, so if it tips over, it won't burn the floor. Wish I thought to put a piece of felt under here to kind of hold everything in place. Oh, you know what? That would help. Becky. Let's put some interfacing on this bad boy. No, I do need the iron back. That'll help so much. Some days my brain just checks out. Let me get my iron back. Put her back in. Put her back to work. You're not quite done yet, Missy. There we go. And these poor interfacings, like, you're using me. I've been stuck in the closet for years. Years and years. I'm just kind of hacking a piece off big enough to use for this. It's probably not the best use of the interfacing, but I know this isn't enough for both halves, but it gets it to a manageable size for me, and I can pin it down, cut it out, fuse it down. That's awful wrinkled there. Yeah, I don't think I can even. If I fuse this on, it'll make this firmer, and then it's so much easier. Oh, you got to burn it. One time I worked back before Scott and I got married, for a little while, I worked at this place called Spud's, and they did baked potatoes. And I was pulling a tray of baked potatoes out of the oven. I was probably 18 or 19 at the time or something like that. And it slipped out of my hands and came down and hit me right there. I had a 3rd-degree burn right in the crux of your arm. That's no fun at all. And I didn't even go to the hospital or anything. Scott and I drove to Tennessee to visit his brother and wife. And that was so painful. $5:00. So we're going to run past the 2.5-hour bit here. I do want to stop in time to go get something to eat before Mary comes on. I wouldn't have to put so many pins in if I'd used the pattern piece instead of the fabric, but oh well, it is what it is. And I am not putting trim on the back side of the stocking, only on the facing side, on the part that will be seen. I don't know if there's any rescue to that piece of interfacing. It's got a lot of wrinkles in it. I think I had this shoved in a drawer at one time. Has anybody seen Eva? Has Eva come in? Eva won the fabric pot holders I made. There was only 6 people commented on that last week's
last week's video live for Wednesday. So I drew a name from the 6 commenters, and the random comment picker picked Eva Vila. Eva Irene. So she won the coasters because I went ahead and I made up the rest of the fabric squares I had in my tin. I made them into coasters real quick, and so she won a set of coasters. All right. I can show you. Let's see. They're just super easy fabric coasters that I made. I didn't quite have enough to make them all match, so one of them's got flowers on the front as well as the back. Actually, there's 5. I thought it was a set of 4. So there's 4 that all match, and then a bonus one. So that's what she won. It's just a little something, and I'll pop it. I've got her mailing address, so I'll just pop them in the mail. I need to find a couple more small boxes for curlers. Slowly getting those all given away. They do make really cute circles for jelly plating and things like that. Or even just printing with them. Just putting them in. All right, I'm going to... I didn't verify that I got this the right way up. Hopefully I'm not fusing it to my ironing board. I'm not. That's good. Yeah, last week was a little crazy, I think, for everybody. And then the weekend and election day and all of that kind of all ran into one. And it kind of weakened Scott and I. And I think then the barometric pressure change happened, and he's been having the bad tummy I had last night. And he had the headache 2 days ago that I had yesterday. So I really should have cut 2 of these so I could have went ahead and fused the other piece. But I want to get the lace on here. I'm going to just turn this off and set it on the floor next to me here. All right. See, now it's got some body. Now we can get to business. All right. Is that the right piece for there, or was it this one? Put that one up there. All right, let me put some pins in here. Oh, that's so much better. Right. I think I'm going to use one more piece of this, kind of up here. Trying not to get too close to that upper edge because I don't want
lace all the way to the top. I'm going to leave it at just a slight angle, I think. All right. So I'm going to say I'm done with that one. Now, whoops. There goes my tab I made. Off all the way. And I'm just going to start just grabbing another one from the pile and adding it on. All right, why do you have Elise's mouth watering? What are you guys talking about now? Oh, I saw that at Walmart. They have the Christmas Milano cookies. They have them with cherry topping and some with peppermint topping and things like that. And Scott was like, nope, we got to stay away from that stuff. It'll make you sick anyway. I was like, I know. We know what we're supposed to do, but we still drool. Oh, you know something else we could put on here is some ribbon. So what color ribbons should I go looking for? Red? I might have some blue ribbon over there too. And if you wanted to, you could sit and hand stitch all this stuff on, but I'm probably going to tack it on with the sewing machine. Or you could use fabric tack. You just got to be careful. If you're using glue, don't get it near where you're going to do your seam allowance because it'll mess your machine all up with, you know, gummy glue and maybe break a needle and that kind of stuff. Blue, not red. Okay. Let me go see what I've got real quick. Stick with the blue and the cream and the white. None of that's really wide. This could be really pretty. I've got baby blue. This is velveteen. No. I lay it on here and then I look at the screen because it gives me a whole different perspective. Yeah, I was going to use the really, where is it? It's here. I was going to use this one near the top, but not all the way at the top. I think I got this from Amanda Charlesworth when she had her lace shop. I don't know if she does that anymore. I think she's just gone to Stampin' Up! Only. That one got chopped off somewhere along the way. So I'll use that at the top. That'll be the last thing I tack on, I think, up here. And then I'll have to pin all the little danglies out of the way while I sew the two layers together. See, I've got this little bit that has just a tiny little bit of blue on it. And then I've got this little narrow blue. I think Evie sent me this one, Puerto Rico. So I might tack that down and then that one. Oh, and I have if I can get it to open. There we go. I have this one as well. All right. That one I don't have a lot of, so I'm not going to bother with that one. Let's see, then I have this thing here as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stitch down what I have here, and then we'll add to it. No. I got to get my patch done for Janet too. At some point here, get it in the mail, and I've got other sewing it's got to get done. Almost done, and then we'll add some more here. I just like to jump in and get something added, and then we can see what we can do next. All right. I'm not going to trim the excess away until we're done doing here. All right. So now we're going to add this blue, I guess. I feel like I need to put another base for the blue to write against. Let's see. This is here. No. That didn't take long. No. Let's see. Maybe. That there. My brain is going, huh? You want to do what? Ow. Glad I remembered about the interfacing because it makes a world of difference. Now see, this one has the little holes. I could feed a narrow blue ribbon through that. Do y'all think I should do that? Just let me know and I'll go get the ribbon and feed it through there. I'm only going to put 2 of those on. Oh, I'm like a bull in a china shop tonight for some reason. All right. And I think I might still use this, but I think I'm done with these. Yes, try it. Okay. Let me grab that. I wonder if I've got a plastic needle where I can get to it. Not really, you know, a yarn needle. Let's see here. There we go. I knew I had one in here. All that banging was my crochet hooks, you guys. Yes, I have that many crochet hooks. That's one. One of these days, I'm going to have it where I can get to this ribbon without having to take it all apart. Hello, who is it? Tiffy, be careful. All right, you guys, I'm going to have to feed him because he won't be good until I do. He's starving, you know. I never feed him. You done playing for today? You gonna stay in tonight? There you go. Oh, God. Okay, I should be free for a few minutes at least. I think I'm going to finish adding the lace and stuff, and then we're going to break, and we'll pick back up on this Wednesday evening, if you guys are okay with that, because I feel like I need to go get something to eat here shortly. Oh, I hope this will fit through these holes. Oh, it's gonna fit. We're gonna make it work. I need to make myself a big pin cushion. That's what I need to do so that I don't have to reach into those containers to get pins. That would be a big help. I actually have pin cushions. They're just packed away at the other house. My brother has twins, and he said they work together well, and he put up a little video, and he said, oh, somebody's left the light on in the bedroom. And the twins were like, oh, no, someone left a light on in the bedroom. They're two. And they went running into the bedroom together, and Aiden laid on the floor so Anastasia could stand on his back and turn the light off. I thought it was so stinking cute. All right. That didn't take too long. What do you think? Leave the blue ribbon in it? And what I'll do is when I stitch this lace down, I'll stitch it down in through this trim piece here and then come across the ribbon, so I don't have to stitch the ribbon at all. It'll just get caught in the seams. Sharon likes it, so I'll leave it. And then we'll just do some through this one down here. It's amazing what the 50 cents what is it, 50 cents a spool ribbon will do for you on a project. Okay. You want to sit up behind me? Okay, you have to sit down. You have to stay there. Tippy's wanting me to stop and pay attention to him. Buddy, no, no. No, honey. Come on. Oh, don't puke on me. Don't puke on Mama. I'll put you in your bed, okay? You gotta be a good boy. Okay. You go to sleep now. I'm not going anywhere. The cat is spoiled. That's all there is to it. I know what I'm going to get Callie for Christmas. We saw it today. Might as well get the cats Christmas presents, huh? It's one of those loungy things. She loves the loungy digger, but I saw one today that was just like a lounge thing. She loves to lay across those that they're shaped like a wave. She loves those things. So I'm thinking I'll get her one for Christmas. Yeah, it's, let me show you. allpeoplequilt.com. Looks backwards to me. I don't know if it's backwards for you guys or not. And when you get to allpeoplequilt.com, you have to sign up for like their little newsletter. It's a free site, but you have to register with them. And the project name is called Craft and Carry. So and it's in the holiday section of patterns. Okay. You're welcome. It's a magazine I absolutely love, but it's only available at the newsstand. It's not available by subscription. And the reason I love it is it includes not just quilt patterns, but it includes things like the wine bottle kit container. There's a stuffed bird in this month's subscription. Not subscription, current magazine. I picked it up at the Ingles yesterday. And Ingles for us is a grocery store. I have to remember not all grocery stores are nationwide. And I don't usually go in that Ingles store because it's usually kind of dirty, but I wasn't feeling good yesterday, but the cats needed food and I needed something else from there. I can't remember even what it was. That's good.
Uh-oh. Let's try that again. So like I said, if you started with just at the beginning of this project, I said you could start with just a basic white, and then you could just layer it with the laces and trims and things and end up with something really stunning at the end just by using the trims that you have in your stash. And I just need to use up what I have. I don't need to be shopping for stuff. And now I've got all that lavender that Barbara Clark gifted me. Plus I have some I bought because I had ordered some before Barbara said she was going to send me some. So I could make sachets for everybody. Hi, Linda McAllister. How are you tonight? Or early morning, whichever one it is for you right at the moment. This one's pretty, but I don't think I want to try to sew that one on today. That one's almost one I feel like needs to be hand sewn on, and I just don't feel it. And I almost feel like this this ribbon here is just too heavy. It's not dainty enough. And it's too dark. So we're going to skip that one. All right. I'm going to take a minute and stitch down what I have pinned down real quick. And then I'll come back and we'll see what we want to do next. If anything, I might just leave it like this. Oh. I guess I should check the bobbin. Oh, we're fine. I put a bunch on the other day. Okay.
I'm sending stuff flying all around me. Papers and lace and all kinds of stuff. Trying to catch those ribbon tails too, so they don't work their way out on me. All right, so I've still got to do this one and that one and that one. So what do you think so far? Well, I'm working on a Christmas stocking, and I made a kind of a wine bag, a wine tote to carry a bottle of wine to a friend's house if I wanted to. And it's lined. That's going to come unthreaded as soon as I start in. You guys, I'm going to finish sewing this on, and then I think I'm just going to end for tonight so that I can go get something to eat and rest a little bit before Mary comes on in a few hours. It'll give me a chance to decompress from trying to sew that wine bag and Mary, are you going to do your pick 10 like you've been doing on the single sheet of paper tonight? Or did you have something else planned for tonight? Or is she even still here? And I'll finish this with you guys on Wednesday. I'm going to finish sewing these on for tonight so I don't have something laying around. I probably won't nap, but I'll get something to eat and just sit quietly for a little while and then come back on and then watch Mary. I might show you all the Afghan I'm working on real quick before I sign off. And if I finish this on Wednesday night, that'll give me a chance to put interfacing on the other half of the stocking and find something for a liner for it. I'm really leaning towards satin since I'm frou-frouing up the outside of this stocking so much. I think it would probably look really nice to have satin on the inside as well as all this lace and pretty on the outside. One more. Let's see. Chit-chatting away. Somebody's chit-chatting away. Okay, Eva, congratulations. You won the fabric coasters. Yay! From last week's live. I drew, put your name, put the 6 comments into the random number picker, and it picked Eva Vila. It turned out really cute. The only problem I had was sewing around the bottom. But I got it. I got it done. I had a few mishaps with the top simply because my brain jumped ahead because I know how to sew. So I was trying to figure out shortcuts to avoid some of what they were making me do. But anyhow, but I'll get those coasters off to you this next week, probably. See, our post office isn't open on the weekends. I wish it was, and I'd mail a bunch of stuff on Saturdays. So this is the stocking we're working on, and I'm going to sign off now. And what I will do is I'll go through my stash because I'm thinking some pearls might be pretty on here, maybe just on top of this here. You see it now? You didn't see it before? I can clean up my mess a little bit too. Let me I'll show you what I've got in pearl trim. If I add the pearls, I'll probably take the time to sit and sew them on by hand beforehand, before I come back on with y'all. See, I've got some pearls like this that drop, and that one's kind of messed up there. Let's see, I could add them on. And then I've got the flat pearls, which might actually go better there. And see, what I'll do is if I use these, I'll trim the trim to the size of the base piece, and then I'll come in about 1/2 inch and just hand stitch these on and stop 1/2 inch from this side as well, just so I'm not sewing over top of these when we're putting the stocking together. So that's pretty. I like the flat trims like that, and I like the drop ones. And I've got that flat pearls. I've got some in white as well. But see, those are ones that I sew on beforehand. I'm looking to see what else I've got in here. I don't know how that got in here, but that's a pretty little lace too. See, I could just keep adding lace and covering it up. So the plan is to meet back up with you guys, I guess, on Wednesday night for this sewing project. And we'll finish this stocking next Wednesday, if that'll work for you guys. Adele's got the grandchildren, so she's making dinner and she can't chat, but she's watching. Okay. All right, I'm going to show you that afghan I'm working on. And I will add a little bit more to this and share whatever I add with you next week, Wednesday night at 7. Man, it's gotten really dark. Let's see. All right. Let's see. See if I can back out a bit.
wasn't zoomed in too awfully bad, but okay. Well, we'll finish the stocking on Wednesday night. I don't want to lose where I was, so I'll jerk up a loop on there. So the cake rolls like this that I got at the thrift store for $1.99 each are actually $10 a skein at Michael's. So I feel good that I got 2 skeins for $1.99, and then I got 2 more at Michael's on sale for $7. So this is the Afghan I'm working on, and you work it corner to corner. And if I can remember, I'll put a link to the girl's channel that I learned this from. She has a YouTube channel and an Instagram page, and she asked that if you make one of her patterns to share it and tag it. And on her site, she tells you what to tag it with. But I'm going to work the 2 that I got at the thrift store. I'm on my 2nd skein right now. And then I'll do, when I switch to the 3rd skein, that's when I'll start decreasing. So this will be a 4-ball Afghan that I can use on the couch to like put over you when you're watching TV or a movie or something. So this is for Scott and I, because I usually end up giving everything away, but I love these colors so much that I'm going to keep this one. But it's coming together nicely, and it's something I can do mindlessly while watching reruns of Criminal Minds or something like that. So, okay, guys, I will see you over at Mary's in a few hours. It's 6 o'clock here. Mary, you usually come on at 8:30 for me, right? So I got a little bit of time to get something to eat, and I'll see you later. And I'll see everybody else. No more Thursdays. We'll be Wednesday evenings, 7 p.m. Eastern time only, okay? Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Giovanna, I did not see you come in. I'm so sorry. All right, and Mary will be ready at 7:30 Central over at her channel. Okay, bye, guys.